Welcome. My name is Tom Bentz, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Phi Alpha Delta International Foundation. The Phi Alpha Delta International Foundation is PAD's charitable entity and a 501c3 tax-deductible organization. The foundation was created to support Phi Alpha Delta members and help sustain the fraternity for years to come. The foundation would like to take some time to recognize the Convention Grant Program and all of the members who have made the program possible. The program, established in advance of the 2014 convention, assists in covering financial obligations of some of our members, mostly law students and recently graduated alumni members, to attend convention. This program has its roots in a single gift that was made to fund one young alumnus member to attend the 2014 convention. This gift was made by a spouse of a PAD, known as a SPAD, Annice Benamy. Annice made this donation to recognize her husband, David A. Benamy, who passed away shortly after the 2012 convention. The response to this single gift of love was 14 David A. Benamy grants being funded by additional members for the 2014 convention. Our grant program has continued to grow exponentially since 2014. Most grants are named for beloved members of our fraternity, both alive and those who have passed, who exemplify service and dedication to PAD. From the initial modest program came yet another grant, this one in the name of Sister Amanda A. J. Vilmer, who passed away at the young age of 34 in 2011. The Vilmer grants fund law student attendance to convention. And then more grants were established, all set up by members, for members, to honor members. The Jack Miller grants, the Brigadier General J. Derek Hill grants, the Rhonda K. Hill Military Spouse grants, the White Camp Zosnick grants, the Allen Atlas grants, the C. Raymond Giudice grants, the Shiver Chapter grants, the New Chapter grants, the Frederick J. Whitecamp grants, and even more district and specific chapter grants were created. These all allow members to participate in the convention when they may not have otherwise been able to do so. For the 2020 convention, we've been able to award 40 of these named grants to individual members to fully cover their cost of attendance at the convention. You can see the full list of recipients at our website at www.pad.org/grants. The foundation was also able to use grant funds to award attendance grants to each active law school and alumni chapter in good standing, another first for this historic convention. Overall, over 100 members are able to join us for our first virtual convention thanks to the individual named grant program and the chapter grant program. These grants are possible thanks to the generosity of our donors. We started with one donor for one grant back in 2014, and now over 200 members, chapters, and organizations have contributed to our grant program that has provided hundreds of grants. Thank you to all of our donors. I wish it were possible to have you all stand and be recognized, but we'll save that for when we're able to be together again. In the meantime, each donor will receive a PAD Convention Grant Recognition Pin to wear with pride. Wear it proudly and know that your fraternity thanks you for your generosity. Now, we will hear from our first ever grant donor, Annice Benamy, SPAD of David A. Benamy.
Hi, Phi Alpha Delta members. Thank you again for inviting me into your space as a guest and a spouse of a PAD. First, I want to congratulate Jay on completing his 2 years as International District Justice. I know David would have been so proud of all the work you did in these past 2 years. It has been 7 years since David left us, and this convention always brings back the greatest and finest memories of David for me. You all have such funny and amazing stories to share. I am forever grateful to Jay, Andrew, and Glenn for helping me establish the David A. Benamy Young Alumni Award to be given to a recent alum to attend the Biennial Convention. David's last convention was in 2012, and he loved every minute of the event. This award is now funded by many of you, so more than one award can be given out. I am proud of the work the past recipients have done for Phi Alpha Delta, Matt, Jen, and Amanda. Today I am pleased to announce that Vanessa Silva from Barry Goldwater Chapter and Arizona Alumni Chapter is my recipient for 2020. In her application and essays, Vanessa showed her leadership as clerk in both groups. She stated that she wanted to build her leadership skills at convention, not just for herself, but for the alumni chapter. She sees herself as a rising leader in PAD to further the chapter by pushing her fellow peers to do the work of the fraternity. I know we will see her as a district vice justice and even a district justice in the near future. She has the drive and the tenacity to help her PAD brothers and sisters. Vanessa reminded me of one of my favorite Jewish texts from Ethics of Our Fathers. It says, "It is not your duty to complete the work, not up to you to finish it, but neither are you free to desist from it." Vanessa showed in her application and essays that she has the drive, that she wants to do the work with her peers. Phi Alpha Delta, remember what David always reminded everyone. Always take the high road and do what is right. Congratulations, Vanessa, and all of the David A. Benamy Young Alumni recipients. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who have contributed to this fund. Have an awesome convention. See you in the meetup and social groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Annice. We know we would not be here without you and your generous gifts.
Dear sisters and brothers, John McKell, Menchikoff Chapter, Rocky Mountain Alumni Chapter, and your International Vice Justice. I'm here to share with you the namesake of our Vilmer Law Student Convention Attendance Grants, A.J. Vilmer, also known as Redhead Lawyer. A.J. was a Phi Alpha Delta legend. A proud Seminole, she graduated from Florida State University, where she was pre-law chapter president, and thereafter Justice of Menchikoff Chapter at St. Thomas University School of Law in Miami, Florida. Professionally, AJ went on to work for the state of Florida Department of Children and Families Domestic Violence Unit, helping ensure the safety of child abuse victims. Until health concerns took precedence and her untimely death in 2011 at age 34. She was very involved in Phi Alpha Delta. She won multiple accolades for her service, including the 2006 Stan Jones Outstanding District Justice Award. She ultimately served as our last past DJ in District 26, all of Florida, before it was split into 2 districts. AJ was a prime example of someone who bled purple and gold and exemplified PAD core values of integrity, compassion, and courage through service to the student, the school, the profession, and the community. When the convention grant program was developed, your executive office team put forth a proposal, unanimously adopted by your International Executive Board, to name our law student attendance grants for our dearly departed sister and constant champion for law student members. We will miss you, Red. Here's to AJ. She's a damn fine pad.
The giving does not stop here. Our grant program now encompasses programs like the Milgram Family Service Grant, which honors first responders, the Inspiration Fund, which provides funding for chapter events, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Fund, which supports our DEI efforts.
Welcome, brothers and sisters of Phi Alpha Delta. My name is Bill Rothman, former District Justice of District 21, currently clerk of the New York City Alumni Chapter. I'm here to tell you about the Milgram Family Service Grant, a grant that recognizes the sacrifices of the first responders and their families. It's a small token of our appreciation to those who deserve the utmost gratitude. We established this grant in the name of Stanley Milgram, father, stepfather, and grandfather of 3 PAD members. He was my stepfather, Brother Glenn Milgram's father, and Robin's grandfather. We are all 3 of us proud to have followed in his footsteps. Stan began his career as a police officer in the New York City Police Department, working his way on up to the rank of sergeant. In doing so, he earned a bachelor's and master's degree from the School of John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He also worked 4 long, hard years to earn his law degree from Fordham Law School. While working in the police department, he worked as an aide on the Knapp Commission hearings, which were intended to root out police corruption. And he also worked in the legal division of the New York City Police Department. Even after he retired and went on to private practice, he maintained his ties with the New York Police Department by working actively with the Shamrim Society, an organization which was intended to help the police officers and their families in time of need, when they were sick, injured, or perhaps died. Although Stan was never a member of Phi Alpha Delta, he certainly lived according to the 7 core values of Phi Alpha Delta, and it is for this reason why this organization is most befitting to allow us to bestow these grants each year. The prior recipients of the grant were Alyssa Soto of Goldwater Chapter, Allison Bloom of William O. Douglas Chapter, and we are proud to announce that Ashley Rushton, treasurer of the Troy University Pre-Law Chapter, is this year's recipient. Congratulations, Ashley, and thank you and your family for your sacrifices that you have made. We know that you will continue on with success and pursue your career following the 7 core values of Phi Alpha Delta. And we'd like to thank Phi Alpha Delta for this opportunity to honor Stanley Milgram and the recipients of the grant. Follow the website of Phi Alpha Delta and Facebook pages to see how to apply to next year's grant. And until then, have a wonderful convention. Stay safe, healthy, purple, and gold.
So I'd like to start by thanking the Phi Alpha Delta team for everything you've done to help honor my dad's memory, including administration of the Jack Miller Grant. It means so much to my family to be able to give back to this organization that was so important to my dad, and I really appreciate the chance to speak to you all just a little bit about him today. For those of you who were lucky enough to know my dad, you'll know what a huge role this fraternity played in his life. He was a small-town boy from rural Missouri who had barely been out of the state until he went to law school, which is when he joined the fraternity and his life changed forever. Phi Alpha Delta gave him the chance to travel all over the country to learn more about his chosen profession, and most importantly, to meet all sorts of people who would become some of his closest friends. When I was growing up, my dad would bring our whole family along to the conventions every year. I always loved seeing my dad so happy when he was reunited with his fraternal brothers and sisters. He was typically a pretty straight-laced, serious guy, but when he was at convention, he always laughed just a little bit louder, stayed up just a little bit later, and loosened up as he spent time with the people who meant so much to him. My dad remained very active in the fraternity up until his death in 2015. He was a very modest guy, but he was always quietly proud of the fact that he served as International Justice and was later welcomed into the Distinguished Service Chapter. He considered his work with Phi Alpha Delta to be an incredible honor, and he was so happy when my brother and I both eventually went to law school and joined the fraternity ourselves. He was so excited that he even flew all the way from Missouri to DC just to see me get sworn in. And that goes to another thing that was so important to him, helping young lawyers as they begin their careers. At my dad's memorial services, I think half of the lawyers in Southwest Missouri came up to us and told us stories about how my dad had mentored them or helped shape their lives in some way. And that is why establishing the Jack Miller Grant was such a fitting way to honor his memory, as it truly combines his love of this fraternity with his subtle way of lifting people up. So I'd like to congratulate the recipients of this year's Jack Miller Grants and thank you for keeping his memory alive. Today would have been my dad's 69th birthday, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate it and honor him than this. Thank you so much.
In 1979, I became a member of Hall Chapter. 40 years ago this week, I met Rhonda at the 1980 Hot Springs Convention. We knew after the first convention we would stay involved in Phi Alpha Delta. This is our 20th convention. We have received a lot of recognition and honors, but one of the best is having grants established in our names. Thank you to the donors that make these grants possible, and congratulations to all who have been selected to receive Phi Alpha Delta grants. In PAD, you meet hundreds of people, make dozens of friends, and develop so many memories, it's difficult to run out of PAD stories to tell. Through my involvement in PAD, I learned a great deal about meeting people from different parts of the country with different backgrounds and becoming friends. In addition, I learned volunteerism, public speaking, and leadership. One of the things I like best is the fraternalism, being able to get into strong discussions and still be friends. I believe the skills I developed as a result of my PAD activities were the foundation of my success. I encourage each of you to stay involved in Phi Alpha Delta. It will have a positive impact on your life. Brother Hill.
One of the easiest questions I've ever had to answer is why I got involved in PAD and why I have stayed involved for 40 years now. Well, someone asked me to join, and once I did, I was hooked. PAD is the only professional legal organization that has given me so many opportunities. The list of opportunities is long, but perhaps the most important is that it has taught me what fraternalism really means. It doesn't hurt either that I met Derek, the love of my life, at the 1980 PAD convention in Hot Springs. It was a great honor to have a grant created in my name whose purpose is to recognize the contributions of a PAD military spouse. Every bit as great is the chance to meet and get to know the grant recipients through the years. This is truly what is the most gratifying. All of the grants awarded by the fraternity and the foundation enable so many members to attend a convention, experience fraternalism, and to learn firsthand about the core values of PAD. It is quite simply about paying it forward and passing it on. A huge thank you to all of you who have contributed to our various grant programs, and congratulations to all of our grant recipients. For those new to PAD, convention is just the beginning of great friendships and professional networking. For those of you who are coming back, please take the time at this convention to renew those friendships, remember what PAD is all about, and get your dose of fraternal purple and gold.
Now more than ever, our members need our support. Giving is not limited to convention or our current grant opportunities. Contact the foundation today to see how you can help make a difference in the lives of your brothers and sisters. Congratulations to all of our grant recipients. Thank you to all of our donors. Philos Adelphos Dikaios, now and forever.